Good evening, everyone. Yay! It is Friday, and my buddy is back. I am so happy to be on Doctor's Orders with Coach Carla, the transformation coach, in the house live and in living color after traveling the world. Carla, we are so glad to have you back. This is Doctor's Orders. We've been meeting every Friday night for about 8 or 9 years now. And my good buddy, Coach Carla, the transformation coach, has always been an integral part of my life for over, oh my gosh, 3 decades now. But I met her a while ago, but we we also went through our health journey together. And she is the one who introduced me to these wonderful products known as Juice Plus. And she's going to be sharing about that. I'll just give you a brief history, which is Juice Plus began in 1970, but we were not Juice Plus back then. We were NSA. We were the company that introduced smoke detectors in the US in 1970. Then we moved into air filtration and water filtration in the 80s. And then in 1993, with a divine connection between Dr. Smokey Santillo and the Juice Plus crew, Juice Plus was brought into the marketplace. And from 1993 into this very day, we have been leaders in transformational healthcare nutraceutical products. So I'm going to turn it over to my buddy, and she's going to explain it all. My personal Dr. Google, Coach Carla, the transformation coach. The floor is all yours.
Well, thank you so much. It is exciting to be sharing the screen and the spotlight with my buddy, Ruth Presley, the hostess with the mostest, and with you. I know that whether you're listening live or whether you're listening to this recording, that I'm just really excited and grateful that you're investing your time with us. Now, how many of you feel weak and want to improve your strength? How many of you have heard that you need more protein? And especially if you're athletic or if you're the A word, aging. And how many of you wonder if you need some special dietary changes to get healthy again? Well, if this is you, then you're in the right place. You see, anyone can have what you're looking for: improved health, improved strength. Now, the information that we'll be sharing with you this evening is for education, information, education, and empowerment. It's not meant to diagnose or to treat any specific condition or to replace a consultation with your medical professionals. In fact, I encourage you not to make changes to your medical protocols without having that consultation with your medical professional, having that discussion about what you're thinking about, the things you're learning, and how they can support you on making changes. So, with that said, welcome to Doctor's Orders. Thank you, Ruthie, for introducing us. I'm Coach Carla Joy. I'm a medically trained health educator and health and life pro coach. Now, for those of you who don't yet know me, would it be okay if I took just a few minutes to share how I learned about the hope that I want to share with you this evening? Say yes. Okay. So imagine the situation. Um, I was in my doctor's office waiting in the waiting room, in the exam room, and feeling a little chilly, and with each passing minute getting more and more nervous. But then in comes my physician, and she says, "Young lady, you have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and prediabetes." My world stood still and then seemed as though it was beginning to spiral. You see, I had a history of poor health. I thought I was the healthiest person I knew, but in reality, I had had relatives who had died of cancer, heart disease, diabetes, and complications of autoimmune conditions. There's much left on the list. If you look at the CDC's 50 most common causes of death in the United States, there's not much left, you know? So for her to tell me that the very markers that indicated that I was a statistic, the very markers that I was being trained to manage in other people, I had them. That really upset my world. And I didn't know how to handle this information because, like I said, I thought I was doing everything right. And I had to go from trusting all the education that I'd received. It was excellent education, but it hadn't protected me from the very things I was learning to manage. And then, after years of searching to find new answers, I spoke to Ruth about her health journey. I spoke to other people. I tried to find people who were succeeding in their health journey. My goddaughter introduced me to the documentaries Forks Over Knives and to the lecture by Dr. Michael Greger, Uprooting the Cause of Disease. I'd be happy to send those along to you if you're interested. Just put me and Forks Over Knives, and I'll be happy to send that along to you. So I watched those documentaries and I realized that not only was there hope, that there were things that I could do. So I began making one simple change at a time, and I began to see different results. In fact, someone introduced me to concentrated fruits and vegetables in capsules, and I started adding them and plant based shakes to what I was already doing. And I found it was so much easier to add that because I was already buying lots of fruits and vegetables and washing and chopping and prepping and packing and a lot of cleanup. It's a lot of work. But here I could add even more servings without the extra work. And what made the difference is that after doing this, within a year of adding these concentrated fruits and vegetables, I got a clean bill of health. No more high blood pressure, no more high cholesterol, no more pre-diabetes. And I'm sharing this story with you because many of you have heard that there's nothing you can do about your health condition. Many of you have heard that there's nothing that you could do to make the changes. And I mean, I don't know about you, if you felt that you've been doing everything right and not getting improved results, has that happened to you? Has that happened to anyone? Have you had family members with a history of specific illnesses, just like I did? People who died of particular diseases or who were prone to a particular diagnosis. Has anybody experienced that? And have you experienced being afraid of trying something new? You know, I was being trained in the medical profession and I was a little scared to try something new. Has that ever happened to you? But what if a healthy U-turn was possible? What if a healthy U-turn in terms of your protein profile or your kidney function or your skin condition was possible with a simple and fast, if that change was simple and fast by making a few simple lifestyle changes? But what have we been taught? We've been taught that as we age, we need more and more and more protein. We've been taught that animal protein is better than plant protein. We've been taught that if we get a little bit, that since protein is an essential nutrient, if we have a little, we probably be better off if we got more. But let's look at the facts. Have you noticed? In America, the CDC says the average American eats 30% of their calories coming from animal proteins. And we're not getting healthier. The rates of cancer, heart disease, diabetes, and autoimmune conditions are all increasing. And we're already eating more than 30% of our calories from protein. So, what do the researchers say? And I'd like to take a minute to make sure that I'm quoting this accurately to you. What are the researchers actually saying? Let's hear from Dean Ornish. What we eat and how we live can actually transform our genes, literally changing the way our cells function, turning on disease-fighting genes and turning off genes that promote cancer, heart disease, and other illnesses. Dr. Michael Greger says the top killers, heart disease, cancer, diabetes, are largely preventable through diet. Dr. John McDougall said simply, it's in the food. And here at Doctor's Orders, we say it just as simply, eat more fruits and vegetables. So, why does this work? You know, we've been taught that animal proteins are superior to plant proteins. And if you think of proteins as long chains of like a string of beads that can be folded back on themselves, and then clumps of proteins can join together. So you have a micromolecular structure and a macromolecular structure. At the very basic, proteins are made up of individual amino acids. And we were taught that there are amino acids that our body can make and amino acids that our bodies have to take in. They're essential amino acids. We were also taught that those essential amino acids only come from animals. But that's not true. Where did the animals get them? They got them from plants. The essential amino acids are all available from plants. And so when you're looking for protein, the thing to recognize is, and something that, we just didn't get it, every living cell has proteins in it. So whether you're looking at rice, which has about 10% of its calories coming from protein, broccoli, tomatoes, carrots, potatoes, any type of plant material has protein. Of course, we know that animal products have protein because when you look at the cells that make up animal products, there's a lot of muscle, and muscle cells have lots and lots and lots of protein. They also have lots and lots of fats. And so the when you look at the question, the protein question, where are we going to get our protein from? All protein actually originates in plants. There's a special element in proteins and in amino acids, the basic unit of a protein, called nitrogen. Nitrogen is an element that is in the air, it's in the soil, and plants, along with bacteria, plants and bacteria work together to incorporate that nitrogen into a molecule that the plants can use, and then when animals eat the plants, that they can use. And so proteins are the source of nitrogen, and nitrogen is actually, they call it nitrogen fixing, that the plants are needed to do that. So proteins originate in plants. And we've been taught that we need more and more protein. One of the challenges is that protein, even though it's an essential nutrient, we discovered it in about 1920, even though it's an essential nutrient, there's a limit to the amount of protein your body can handle. And so when the standard required amount for protein was developed in the early 1900s, it was set at 8 to 10% of your calories. And that proves correct up to today. In America, we may eat as much as 30% of our calories coming from high protein foods, usually animal products. I mean, as I said, you're going to get protein from vegetables and sweet potatoes and potatoes, but a lot of Americans usually get the bulk of their protein from animal sources. What we didn't realize is that once you go above that 10%, you're actually putting a strain on your body because your body doesn't store excess protein. If your body needs protein, it's going to use it. And then the excess is going to be cut up, broken down, and excreted out of your body by your kidneys. And so, one of the reasons where we have a high degree of kidney failure or kidney damage is because we're overworking our kidneys by overeating protein. And the protein that we're overeating is coming from animal sources. So, what's the solution? The solution is to dial back the amount of protein that we eat and to choose sources that have that are not as inflammatory and not as hard on our kidneys. So you want to dial back your protein sources so that you're getting less to about 10% of your calories coming from proteins. And if you can dial forward your protein sources to plant protein sources, the researchers have found that it's less inflammatory, it triggers less cancer-causing circumstances. It triggers fewer heart attacks. It decreases the age shortening effect of high protein diets. Now, someone asked me, but isn't there proof that our ancestors ate a lot of proteins? Well, one of the challenges that we've just begun to be aware of is that animal products or animal bones survive better in archaeological sites than plants. And so when archaeologists 20, 50, 100 years ago looked at ancient sites, it was easier for them to find the remnants of bones, the remnants of animals, than it would be for them to find the remnants of plants, because the plants tended to be broken down by other animals, by bacteria. And so there's little evidence left of the plants. Now, with our modern techniques for looking at soils and soil samples, we have better ways of identifying whether or not plants were involved in people's eating plan. And so what we've discovered is that many of the people that we thought were eating a lot of animal products were actually not. They were surviving on plants, and that they got their proteins from the plants. So there's a shift in our knowledge base so that we can now recognize that even take the Roman gladiators. They were called barley men. Those big, strong gladiators, they were called barley men because they used plants, and that's what they used to build up their strength. And they were not eating high animal product eating plans. So, what does that mean for you and me? Um, it means that a lot of the things that we thought in the past or were taught in the past were not accurate. Number one, that we do need protein, but we only need about 10% of our calories coming from proteins. Of course, you should speak with your dietitian and your medical professional, so because you may have specific protein needs that fall a little outside of this general statement. But even so, um, plant sources of proteins have the advantage of they're less inflammatory, they're less pro-inflammatory. In fact, they are anti-inflammatory. They don't trigger the cancer causing hormones. The plant proteins are not surrounded by as much fat as the animal proteins. And when we look at some examples of, of work around the world, we can look at some of the blue zones that are represented in Dan Buettner's work called the Blue Zones. Okinawa, Japan, Sardinia, Italy, Nicoya, Costa Rica, Icaria, Greece, Loma Linda, California. And in his work, you can see some of the blue zones where their diets are mainly plant-based. And even as people age, and even as people who are athletic, they use, they're mainly plants and they only eat small portions of animal products. They don't have that 30% of their calories coming from animal products. But this is not just beneficial if you're thinking about protein. It's actually beneficial when you're thinking about the most common causes of death and disease in the United States. So when you look at the work of Dr. Kelly Turner, who wrote the book Radical Remission, and she's talking about cancer patients, and the work of Dr. PhD Dr. T. Colin Campbell, and he talks about what they discovered about the impact of animal proteins on um, turning on and turning off cancer genes, you can see that having a plant strong eating plan is an advantage. Then you could look at the work of Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn, who worked with heart disease patients and put them on a plant-based, a plant-strong eating plan, and they saw rapid improvements. You can also look at the work of Dr. Neil Barnard and Dr. Michael Greger, and you can see the research that they've done and how they've been able to identify that a plant-based eating plan can reduce the risk of diabetes and even slow its progress and in some cases reverse it, as in my case. Then you can look at the work of Dr. Brooke Goldner, who had lupus and reversed lupus, and Dr. Saray Stanzik, who was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis and reversed her signs and symptoms, again, with a plant-based eating plan. So many are asking, what next? What and how do I get started? Did I get that right? Well, what some of you have said to me is that we're very busy, so we want something that is simple and quick. We want something that is budget friendly. And because this is, in some cases, new to us and to our families, we want something that's easy to share and easy to introduce into our family. So because some of you are sick and tired of being sick and tired, what I'm going to share with you might not be for everyone, but it's for those who are sick and tired of being sick and tired, and they're ready to make changes. They're ready for a healthy U-turn. They're ready for something that's simple, fast, and accessible because they want to be fit and healthy. And if that's you, write fit and healthy in the chat. If you want to be fit and healthy, write fit and healthy in the chat. So we have some information of something that is simple, that's quick, that's accessible. So do you want to hear about it later or do you want to know about it now? You know, Ruthie and I, We know about this already, but do you want to know about it now? If you do, right now in the chat. See, there are a couple of things that we like to offer. The first is to join our community. Ruthie mentioned to you that we're part of a community that wants to inspire healthy living around the world. The Juice Plus company has um, thousands of men and women, medical professionals, housewives, moms on a mission, people who are committed to their own health journey and to helping other people with their health journey. And we'd like to invite you into our community. Many communities come with a cost, but we have a free Facebook group where you can join the community. You can get to know people. You can hear about the presentations that are going on Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night. And you can become familiar with the medical professionals and the people who have been supporting healthy living for decades. So we would love to invite you to join our free Facebook group. It's private, so you need an invitation. So speak to the person who invited you to this video, and we'd be happy to invite you in, and you can join our free group. Now, many communities require payment, but this one, it's worth like $97 a month, but you get to join us for free. The second thing we give you access to is to our functional foods. You know, when I started on this journey, I had to figure out how do I get started. And one of the things that's so easy now is that we have access to the Juice Plus products. We have concentrated fruits, vegetables, and berries. And we also have our omega blend. Well, we know the farmers who grow these fruits and vegetables. They're grown in pristine conditions. They're not picked until they're fully ripe. And when they are, they're as soon as possible, they're flash frozen, concentrated into powders, and placed in plant-based capsules. The omegas, many people try to get omega-3 because from a diet rich, that's like 30% of their calories coming from um, protein rich animal products, they have an omega imbalance. And so they try to restore that balance by getting omegas. But did you know that fish don't make omegas? No, the fish get it from the algae. So we bypass the fish, making it sustainable because it's taking a lot of fish to get a little bit of omegas. And we bypass the fish, and we also go to 5 other plant sources to get the omegas oils. Now, omegas come in groups, and in nature, they occur. We have omega-3, 5, 6, 7, and 9, and we've got all of them in our omega blend. We're not isolating the omega-3. We're putting them all together the way they come naturally. And so you can have access to that. We also have our complete shakes. You know, many people live a very busy lifestyle, and having a meal on the go would make a significant difference. So we have our complete shakes in vanilla and chocolate. And you just add it to 8 ounces of plant-based milk or even water if you like. And that gives you fiber and plant-based protein. So you've got the healthy carbohydrates, the fiber, the plant-based protein, and you also get other vegetables. I mean, this is coming from broccoli sprouts, alfalfa sprouts, pumpkin powder, pomegranate, rice bran, quinoa. I mean, it's healthy food on the go. And all you need is a shaker bottle and some water or plant-based milk. Now, for many years, we had the capsules, the plants in the capsules. And now we have the superfood. You can get a day's serving of the fruits, the vegetables, and the berries in the powdered form. You just add it to 8 ounces of water, and it makes a wonderful, refreshing drink. And we also have our Luminate. This contains Alpinia galanga, lion's mane, cordyceps, sage, coffee berries, ashwagandha, rhodiola. All of these help give us energy, focus, and calm. And so that's quite a beautiful combination. And again, you add it to water, and it's another refreshing drink. Finally, we have something to support your gut health. We didn't talk a lot about it today, but our immune system starts with our gut. We didn't know it for a long time. We knew that there are parts of the immune system residing in the gut. We didn't realize that the gut bacteria were constituted a major component of our immune system and our immune response. And so we found a way to support gut health by improving our gut diversity. We have the probiotics that contain the lactobacillus and bifidobacillus, and they're also in a delayed release capsules so that they can make it through the stomach into the intestines. But even if you have the bacteria, you've got to feed them. And so we have the prebiotic, five powerful fibers proven to support the bacteria as they grow in the gut. And with that improved microbiome, we have evidence of improved compounds that the bacteria produce to support our health. Not only are they part of our immune system, but they help break down the fiber and produce the short chain fatty acids that we need. So you may have heard of some of them, and our researchers have found that our products help improve our nutrition profile by improving our gut health. So you have our community, which you can join for free by asking someone. You have our concentrated fruits and vegetables, our functional food to add to whatever you're doing. The American College of Lifestyle Medicine said that we're all on a spectrum. And so wherever you are, we can help you get started. This is a healthy jumpstart just by adding the fruits and vegetables, the complete shake, the superfood, the luminate, and the super biome. In addition, I'm here to offer you free 5-day one-on-one coaching. You know, when you know what to do, sometimes you need support with how to do it and how to maintain it. I mean, lots of people get started. I've spoken to so many people that said, I got started, I saw the documentary Forks Over Knives, I got started, but I fell off the bandwagon. Well, I'm here to help you develop a system so that you can, if you fall off the bandwagon, you can get back up and keep going. So you have the community where you can get recipes, you can learn, you can get educated, you can become familiar with some of the experts, you can participate in getting access to our functional foods. You can also get access to our free 5-day coaching challenge. And finally, we have our immersive events. Several times during the year, we meet together. We were in Indianapolis. Now we're going to be in Florida, and we're going to visit the Pagets in Waynesboro, Georgia. And the Pagets may be coming to a town near you. I hear they're going to be in Philadelphia at the end of July. So you can be there at one of our immersive events where you can meet the people that we're talking about, meet the movers and shakers, meet the people whose lives have been transformed. So don't forget, how do you get started on this journey of improving your protein profile, improving your strength, improving the outcomes for your health journey. We don't claim to diagnose or treat or cure any disease, but the evidence is strong that eating whole food plant based can reduce the risk, slow the progress of, and in some cases reverse conditions that people have. And that eating plant strong improves the protein profile. So we're here to support you. And the Juice Plus products are a support to that. The community is a support to that. The coaching is a support to that. And our immersive events are a support to that. So I hope that the information that I've shared with you today has been encouraging, enlightening, and educational, and that you can take this information, share it with your medical professionals, talk to the person who invited you, and get started on your healthy living journey today. Now, those of you that are here in the audience, maybe you can unmute and tell our friends who are listening in what we say every time we get together.
Eat more fruits and vegetables.
There you go. Eat more fruits and vegetables.
I was
Thank
coming. I was coming. I don't know
we
how to
thank
turn off the daggone mute.
we thank you for joining us this time, and we look forward to speaking with you again next time at Doctor's Orders. And don't forget, eat more fruits and vegetables.
Absolutely.